What's up, comic fans, and it's time for New Comic Book Day. Why? With comic news. What is up? What is up? What is up? I hope everybody's having a great, excellent Wednesday out there. Whether you're tuning in now or checking in on the rewind, I hope everybody's having an amazing Wednesday, an amazing day. I hope everything that you wanted to happen today happened. And if it didn't happen, hopefully it'll happen in the future. Positive, powerful, positive thinking, power, positive thinking. What's up? All right, guys, let's get into the news. All right. And so, like, in the news of good news, right? Trying to spread that positive message. Three brothers from California were cleaning out their recently deceased mother's attic. When, lo and behold, to their surprise, they found a very, very, very rare comic. What's up? Thanks, Dagger. They ended up finding. Hey, what's up, Kirby? Get a little more music in the background. Kirby's announced. They ended up finding a Superman #1. All right, and that's crazy. The brothers preferred not to be identified, so the news hasn't reported who they are, but they did get an interview with them, and they were pretty much ecstatic. And the cool thing was the book was found in like mint condition, so I believe they got it graded. They don't say who the graders were, but I assume it was CGC. It came back a 9.0. The youngest brother is actually 57, I believe. So the mother was, they don't say how old the mother was, but I have to assume even if she had the kids at 21, she was like 78 or older. But anyway, the youngest son was 57 years old. So that puts the other brothers a lot closer to 60. But the cool thing, I guess, for them is that the book went up for auction at Heritage Auction. I don't think the auction has finished yet, but the book had already gotten to highs of $5 million, which may break the record. The record for the highest selling book, I believe, was $6 million. So that is insane. It's insane. So these brothers lost their mom, and then decided to clear out her house. You know, kind of the last thing they wanted to do. Basically, they said they went in there with the mindset of just throw everything in a dumpster, get the house clean, and then sell it. And so we don't have to think about mom anymore. And you find a comic book that's worth almost $5 million. Well, right now it's going for about $5 million. And who knows, by the time the auction's over, could be well north of that number. So that is crazy. Mom leaving them with one last gift before she headed to the great unknown. In other news, Grimm, which just ended last week, right? So the Boom Studios Grimm, not to be confused with Xenoscope's Grimm Tales, which features some covers. Anyway, Grimm just ended, and Netflix has picked it up for a show. So a lot of people are predicting this could be a hit. It deals with the spawn of death. So that could be, the daughter of death. So, or the Grim Reaper, if you will. Yeah, it was good. I read Grim. I didn't finish it. I still have some issues to go, but I've collected enough of them that I should be able to finish Grim. There was also some really cool covers. Yeah, some really good. A lot of different artists actually did it. Jenny Frison had a couple of covers, so it'll be interesting to see. And the rumor is it's not just optioned, but the rumor is it's actually going to be a show. So it's not like development, like they've got writers and everything in the room already, working on developing it. So we'll see. Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is, this comic apparently belonged to mom. I don't know how she acquired it, but it wasn't like her kids. She saved her kids' stuff. This was actually her own copy. So it was found in a bin with some newspaper clippings and stuff like that. So interesting. Yeah, my mom threw away a bunch of my toys too. Um, and I had some of the original like Marvel action figures and stuff, which even out of the package are still worth some coin. And I had a couple of original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, GI Joes, um, the Marvel action figures, and some Transformers. And growing up, those weren't really like you. Um, of I think my screen just went blank. But not sure if you lost me or not. But like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those were in stores. You could just go to like Toys R Us or something when I was growing up, pick those up. So, yeah, it's sad to think those things are gone, but yikes. Even if I still had them though, they weren't in the original packaging. So it'd be probably still be a couple $100, but nothing like finding a couple of $1 million comic. Comic that's worth a few $1 million. All right. Well, that part is done. The news. We are done. We are done. We are done with the news. So that was With Comic News part of New Comic Book Day. Why? With Comic News. Now we'll get on to comics picked up this week. All right. So yeah, that is crazy though. Somebody found, well, three brothers found comics. All right, let's see. What do we have? I like to pick up these when they come out. Comic shop news. Hulk smash everything. Hulk's rage knows no bounds, from Earth's wildest challenges to cosmic chaos. The Green Goliath smashes through every obstacle in a battle that tests his power and soul. The Hulk's really blowing up lately. They're just putting the Hulk in everything, and it's cool. Hulk's a great character. I mean, I love the Hulk. Bash the Hulk. Let's see what's coming out. DCKO Night Fight #2 is coming out, and that's yeah, you can order that now, I guess. There's a Wonder Woman versus Lobo for DCKO. I'll probably get that. Those seem like cool comics. The cool thing, they kind of give you a layout of what's coming out. Wonder Woman versus Lobo. You see that down there. We're probably going to read that. DCKO over here. We read that before. What else? Got anything else coming out that looks good? Really cool. Oh, you got the Gargoyles. I used to watch that on TV. I don't know. I don't see too much on this page. What are we interested in? Yeah, not too much here. Team America. America. What else do we got? All right. For those of you who aren't Canadian, like Dagger, we got things to be thankful for. Thanksgiving is next week here in the States. You've never been to the Macy's Day Parade. Let me tell you, that is definitely an experience you should go to. But definitely go if you hear it's going to be a windy day and you want to see people struggle with big inflatable Pikachus. Definitely hit up the prep day for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. It gets wild out there with them trying to control those things. And then on a windy day, like a windy day of the parade, oh man, they need all the manpower. Let's see. So what are some things that they say to be grateful for? 13 things. 13 things to be grateful for. 1, Stan Lee's many cameos. Because even in universes with gods and aliens, there's always room for the one charming old guy with a wink. Yeah, I miss Stan Lee. I believe the anniversary of his death was a couple of days ago. So, Stan the man, you are missed. Number 2, Batman's endless supply of grappling hooks. That's one of the 13 things to be grateful for. Seriously, does Wayne Tech have a warehouse just for those? Cosplayers. This level of fan enthusiasm has to be respected. I've noticed cosplay is becoming more and more mainstream, right? So it used to be you went to a convention a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, and there was only a handful of cosplayers. Now it feels almost like a 50-50 split. People even have, mini cosplays, I guess you'd call it, just something pieced together from their closet that's close enough to the character, or they have like one piece of the costume, the hat or the shirt or something, that just a prop. So cosplay is really getting into the mainstream. Number 4 of the 13 things to be thankful for: streaming services that keep old shows alive. Because where else would we find X-Men the animated series at 2 a.m. in the morning? All right. I'm actually, though it looks like I'm pretty well lit here, I am reading in the dark. There is no other light. You know what? For this part of the segment, we will turn on that bright ass light right there. All right. Number 5 of the 13 things to be grateful for: pop culture debates. Nothing says family bonding like arguing over who'd win in a fight, Hulk or Superman. Number 6 of the 13 things to be grateful for: the fans who keep franchises alive. Thanks for creative art, fanfic, and relentless enthusiasm. It keeps these characters and stories alive. That's right. Without us fans out there would be none of this. Number 7 of the 13 things to be thankful for: creators who take risks, because the weird ideas are often the ones that stick with us, right? Like Absolute Batman. That guy's a tank. Who would have thought a bat axe would have been so popular? But it's all worked, and somehow that's cool. Number 8 of the 13 things to be thankful for: villains with style. From Loki's smirk to Harley Quinn's glitter, evil has never looked so good. What is that? That's a t-shirt over there, isn't it? Yeah, don't worry, that's a C3 shirt. So I'm not just throwing shirts around. I wear that when I do certain videos. All right. Number 9 of the 13 things to be thankful for: post-credit scenes. They make us Stay seated with anticipation for an extra 10 minutes while the cleaning crew eyes us impatiently. Number 10, every fan who ever said, you've got to read this because sharing stories is what keeps this whole universe spinning. Number 11 of the 13 things to be grateful for, soundtrack composers, because without them, epic battles would just look like very sweaty people in silence. Number 12, toys that double as display art. Well, wait. All right, the 13th of the 13 things to be thankful for, the eternal optimism of the fandom. Because no matter how bad the last issue was, we'll still be there in a few weeks for the next one. Ain't that true? We read a lot of Amazing Spider-Man, and we're still reading it. Now, actually, it's gotten pretty good right now. All right. And that was from the things to be thankful for. 13 of them, by the way. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, lost characters. The Owl. The Owl's one of those lost characters. Appeared in Daredevil and Spider-Man comics. He'll be back. What else do we have here? All right, Ryan North. He'll be doing Hulk Smash Everything. We saw that on the front page. Rick and Morty face their final doom. That's a thing if you're a Rick and Morty fan. All right. Let's turn this light back off. Because I like being in the dark. I was born in the dark. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm trying to sound like Bane, and I sounded like I don't know what. I was born in the dark. Yes, Batman. All right, what else do we did get the Zdarsky comic news. This is fun too, guys. If you don't, if you haven't picked it up yet, totally do that. It's got a little bit of satire and makes fun of things, but also at the same time, it's got some comic news, and it definitely promotes some of the cool stuff coming up. Joshua Williamson is coming over to Marvel. He's doing Iron Man #1, so I'll probably pick that up. When is that coming out? January. All right. Covered by Ryan Stegman. And it's Joshua Williamson and Carmen Carnero. All right. Let's see. What do we got in here? Chip includes a Ultimate Universe pitch for Ultimate Universe 3.0. Considering that the Ultimate Universe that's coming to an end in December, they're calling that the Ultimate Universe 2.0. Maybe Chip will get the gig. I think they've done a really good job with this Ultimate Universe. So here are some hot comics according to Chip and Steve. Who's Steve? I don't know who Steve is. Steve Anderson from Third Eye Comics. All right. Steve's top 5 are Absolute Batman #13, Absolute Batman Annual #1, Ultimate Endgame #1, Deadpool Batman #1, and Absolute Batman #15. On sale now. Pre-orders are massive on this one. What else? We got Chip's Picks. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man #6. They're all Zdarsky books, by the way, and Zdarsky's picks. So I'm not even gonna read all of them. They're just when he did Spectacular Spider-Man. Very cool. Very cool. All right, into the comics. Let's get into the comics. Where did I put the comics? Where are my comics now? They're right here. All right, we'll start with some of the ones we haven't read yet. We got Exquisite Corpses. We're going to read this when we get off the air here, right? So this is the one that comes with a unique collectible trading card. So we're going to cut this open. You know what? If I keep holding it from here, when I get to the end, this comic is just going to fall. So we're going to put it down gently. Finish cutting it. Now we're going to pick it back up. So there's always, I don't know why they cover the cover, because they show the cover in the solicitations, and there's the card right there. So we'll take the comic out, take the card out. And so cover C, you got to get the poly bag cover C if you want the cards. Get rid of the poly bag. I have no idea where that went. So here's the card. So we got the Congregation. Skills. Become one. Use the skill of any dead killer. So in this game, your main objective is to kill the other killers, just like in the comic, right? So this one, after you've finished someone off, or somebody finishes somebody else off, you can then use their skill. So that is the Congregation. Yeah, it's a really good read, if you ask me. I mean, it's James Tynion, so he does a pretty good job with the writing. Right, and then the art is actually done by Walsh, Michael Walsh, and he gets a lot of and it's actually Claire Rowe with Michael Walsh, so he gets a lot of credit for the writing too. See, written by Michael Walsh with James Tynion, and then art by Claire Rowe with Michael Walsh. But James Tynion and Michael Walsh are kind of the two bigwigs on this book. So we take a quick little look inside the book. What's up, Rich? Comic Cap Collectibles in the house. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it, bud. Go check out Rich and his channel, especially if you're into learning how to fix your books up, pressing and cleaning and all that good stuff. I've been saying for a while now, I'm going to start pressing some books. I have a press, so we may wait till the new year, but it's going to be time. But yeah, this is a really good book. I mean, it's basically what happens when you throw a bunch of killers into a town, and their main objective is to kill each other, but they're killers, right? So they're definitely going to mess up the town as well. So Explosion, a Michael Bay book. So let's see, where are I got a few bags and boards. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to actually starting to start pressing some books. It's really gonna be fun. I've got some books to practice with too, so I don't have to start back with good books. So I like to put the little cardboard insert in the back of the book, and then I usually throw the card in there too. Now I'll take these cards out when the game is actually released, but for now they'll live with the comic, just in case that game never actually comes out. But they are saying this game will be out next year, 2026. So I saw a panel on it. I went to the panel at New York Comic Con. So, and I got friends who like to play games, so I think we're gonna end up playing this one. All right, some more comics I didn't get to yet. We have Catwoman number 81. I'm actually on Catwoman number 79, so we got 3 issues to catch up on this series, but we'll definitely make it. I kind of like it. It's a bunch of like stories from Selina's past, if you will. And I'm not up to this issue, so I'm not sure if we've been, transposed back into the current times. But there was definitely a long run with this thrown back into the good old days of Selina's life. So, and each one, you could see the little girl here, right, with the cat, and you see Catwoman here. And usually it's like a story sometimes, well, not usually, but sometimes it's a story set in the current, where then we get flashbacks to a time when she was a child. We can imagine that Catwoman had a rough childhood. So then we get kind of a story that shapes who she is, or why she is who she is. And I like that. I like getting the character details that let us know why is the character the way the character is. All right, Liam Sharp. He is the only name on this book. And so we got Spawn the Dark Ages #1. This is a pretty dope cover. That's why I got this one. Yeah. And this is Liam Sharp on the cover. Right? They had some, I think they had a variant. They had a B cover, but we got the A cover. So yeah. Liam McCormick Sharp. Right? Script. Art. Color. Sorry. Lettering is AndWorld Design. So yeah, so he did doing his own Spawn book. And I've seen Liam Sharp art before, and it's pretty dope. So I was like, you know what? If Liam Sharp's doing a Spawn book, we'll at least pick up issue 1 and see what it's about. So let's see. Did we miss any? It's that Battle Hulk looking dude. I'll throw this in a bag and board. Check something real quick. That's not what I wanted. Where is... Momentary technical difficulties, folks. But don't worry, I do have the next book here. I have Absolute Flash, #9. All right, cool. I was just making sure I sent the message out. So, but yeah, Absolute Flash #9. I haven't read #9. I read #8. So we got a little Barry Allen history, as into what was happening at the facility where we get the Flash being made and a bunch of other metahumans. So #9 probably gets into the Wally West aspect of why. So actually, I dig the Flash. It's pretty good. I actually agree. I'm reading Ultimates. I'm reading Wolverine, and I'm reading Spider-Man. And I've read some of the X-Men and Black Panther. So, but it all ends next month, and I plan on reading it all. But I may just, for what I haven't bought yet with X-Men and Black Panther, I'll probably just get the trade, save myself So I'm back talking to a couple of ladies at Timmy's. Timmy Sabah. Timmy. So I assume back talking means we're not having that positive interaction, right? Let's see. Or are you just like, hey ladies, what's up? All right. I don't have the sound on, but I just put on your stream and I'm waving. I can't hear you when you say hi though. But if you see me, thumbs up. There you go. I see you. I'm about to hit the like button. There we go. Started streaming 48 minutes ago. What's up, buddy? I saw the wave. All right. Cool beans. All right. Yeah, very interesting. Yep. You know me. Yeah. What's up? That's awesome. All right. No guest host today. I don't know where Aaron is. I don't know where the Secondtronic squirt gun is, but he's around somewhere. All right, we got One World Under Doom. This is the B cover for this one. I got it because it's got. So I got this. I got two of these covers. I got the A and this C cover. Let me see. This is 961. Oh, so this is the F cover. This is a surprise variant. They didn't really announce it till today. So it's also called a spoiler variant. So we can assume because it's a spoiler variant that Scarlet Witch here becomes the new Sorcerer Supreme. Right? So that's what they usually do with these spoiler variants is they give you info for something that happens in the book before you read the book. So spoiler, 99% sure by the end of this book, Scarlet Witch is the Sorcerer Supreme. Or the Sorceress Supreme, right? All right, let's get into some of the books that I did read. And we're going to start off with Batman Deadpool #1, all right? Not to be confused with Deadpool Batman #1. Now, this is the cover F. So, this is Batman and the Punisher. Now, I wouldn't say I got this because I'm a huge Punisher fan. I also got a Bill Sienkiewicz version of this book with Wolverine and Batman, I believe. But this is Nick Dragotta, and I'm a big Nick Dragotta fan. So I picked this up. Punisher is a cool character too, and if anybody, Batman would be like chasing down any hero from the Marvel universe. I don't know if I want to quotate hero on Punisher, but Punisher is definitely one of the more polarizing figures. I would say that the Batman would probably track down Frank Castle. So this is a very realistic thing. Does not happen in this comic, but it is something that could happen. Definitely going to grab a few books tomorrow. I'll end up going today. That's fine. I mean, unless you're like really tracking, like really looking for any particular book, I think you can go any day of the week. Like my comic shop had like 30 of these. So if you find that you can't find a Batman Deadpool dagger, let me know because I can probably get it from my comic shop. They had like pretty much every cover. Cassandra Nova, surprise, makes an appearance in this book. That is Professor X's sister. Obviously, we got Deadpool in here. Batman's in here. Yeah, we saw that here. There's the Bat. What's up? It's Ian and Beck. And Becca Comics. What's up, guys? Long time no see. I've been good. How about yourselves? Hope you're doing good. I hope you guys are actually doing amazing. Um, is what is it? New York Big Apple Con next week, I think, or something like that. Guys have any plans? Oh no, I think it would be this weekend if Big Apple Con was happening. Guys have any plans for any of that stuff? Let me see. Big Apple Con. I was thinking about it, but not quite sure. Oh, I just can't. All right. Well, now my computer's like, if you Big Apple Comic Con. There it is. What date is it? November 22nd. Yeah, it's this weekend. At the Gramercy. I definitely want the new Spawn and Deadpool. Yes. Yes, those are some good stuff. Just finished reading it. Yeah. I read it earlier, a little earlier today. You know, it's not bad. There's fun stories. There's like 2 full stories in here. And then a couple of little smaller stories. You know, the Batman one in Grant Morrison fashion was very interesting, you know, very multi-layered, if you will. He really worked out his writing muscles there, if you will. Yeah, it always sucks when you can't make it. I had to choose between work and a con last weekend, and I chose work. And I'm still like, should have went to the con. It was admission was free if you brought food, so it was like a food drive at a brewery in Queens. And I was like, man, my comic shop guy said the best story in here was the Nightwing and Laura Kinney Sticks and Snicks, and I thought it was actually pretty good. It was definitely a good. The characters worked well together in this one, so there was a lot of synergy, if you will. And then you get all these side stories. You got Harley and the Hulk. Apparently, Harley likes big green men. What else? You got a Static and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. All right. Fighting. Looks like a giant kaiju, right? And I think that was the last story. Then you had Doctor Strange and Constantine. So, but no Batman and Punisher. But again, Nick Jagoda cover. I like Nick Jagoda. I didn't get any autographs from him this year at New York Comic Con, but maybe next year. We'll see how Absolute Batman is doing next year. Maybe we'll get that on there. All right. Massapequa, nice. I'm a little bit further out here, so I'm about. Oh, excuse me. I'm about middle of the island, so Red Shirt Comics and Fourth World Comics are my 2 go-to locations. Red Shirt is like 5 minutes away from my house, so the Josh and crew there really do a great job. So I get most of my pulls from them, and then Fourth World Comics, a little further away from me, but they're definitely like, I ask them for most things, and 99% of the time I can get it. So they're really my comic specialists. Like, you know, A covers and subs is like Red Shirt, and then the harder stuff to get is Fourth World Comics for me. But I do frequent both of those. and I love either one. It would come down to whoever's closer to me. It's the one that I would frequent the most. So if I ever moved a little further west, Fourth World would probably overtake Red Shirt as my LCS. Yeah, and Fourth World, yeah, Fourth World's my jam. They have that 50 Cent warehouse now. So, yeah, Terrence and crew over there are also really cool at Fourth World Comics. I mean, they're just a phenomenal group of guys, running that comic shop. So, it really, like when I go in there, Fourth World feels kind of like homely, like home. Um, just everybody's so great, and I get my pulls there. So, uh, and when I say I get my pulls, I don't get, like I said, Red Shirt is kind of my main pull place. But I when I walk, what I meant to say was when I walk in, they just kind of not run, but they walk to the pull area and bring me my books. Like we have a familiarity. That's where I was getting at. So. Yeah, so I've been to the Fourth World Warehouse. I've been there a couple of times. Actually, when we were still kind of in the pandemic, it was open and on Wednesdays. And I think for the first like 10 weeks that it was open, I never missed a day it was open. And then recent I haven't gone too much. Like they were just open today, actually. And I would have went today, but I had some work to do, which unfortunately for me, I forgot to do. So I had to kind of do it and forego going to the warehouse so I could finish it, which was fine. I finished it real quick. And then I ended up going Red Shirt, and I spent like 2 hours there just talking with the shop owner, Josh. So yeah, I lost out my opportunity to go. And then this weekend, Saturday, I'm pretty sure they're open this Saturday, so maybe I'll try to go to the warehouse on Saturday and check it out. But it's the warehouse is awesome. Ton of comics, all 50 cents. If you're looking for run fillers, ton in there. There's some good books in there. Occasionally, like a good book, I guess, slips through, ends up in the bin. I've told them too, like, hey, this book is probably worth more than 50 cents, and most of the time they're just like, hey, if it's in there, it's 50 cents. So whether they miss it or not. So I've managed to get a few, like, ratio exclusives, and I got the first Kyle Rayner Green Lantern in there. There's a couple of other ones I've pulled out that I always kind of, some first appearances, Superior Iron Man. There's usually, and then there's some good, like, sometimes they have some good, like, Bronze Age books, or I've even seen some Silver Age books in there. So Kyle's Comics. Yeah, I haven't been to Kyle's Comics in a while. I have been there though. It's probably been a year or two. Yeah, it's pretty good. Usually around the holidays too, he has some sales, like holiday sales, right? Like $5 books, I guess, or like $2, or $10 and above books are like 50% off. I haven't been there in a while, so I'm not sure exactly what kind of sales he's pulling, but Kyle's cool like that. He does layaway too, right? So if you can always bargain with him on a book, especially if you're paying cash. And then if you're trying to get a slab that's a little bit maybe out of your budget, he will work with you on like a layaway plan. Usually when you do that though, there's not much wiggle room for bargaining, right? So if you can pay for the book outright in cash, you can usually work with him, haggle with him to get a better price. But if you want to do the layaway plan, then when I talked to him, he was saying then you can't really haggle with him as much because he's got to wait for his money. That's pretty cool. Small world. Yeah, and I've seen him around at cons too. I'm pretty sure I've seen him at New York Comic Con. I don't know if he was there this year. And I saw him last year, not this year, but I think I saw him last year at Heroes Con. So yeah, he's he seems to be a bit of a fan as well. So I should check out Kyle's Comics again. It's a pretty cool place to go. he's got some pretty banger books too. He's got some cool books in Kyle's Comics. The Ultimates, number 18. So this book is kind of a culmination of the ending of, I guess, what we're getting to, the Ultimates universe, right? We're going to have Ultimate Endgame, I believe, or the Ultimates Endgame is the name of the comic that this is all going to end with. But the Ultimates put out a call for action, right? And so they definitely incite the people to come together, to be a force, led by Iron Lad, Tony Stark on this one, America Chavez messing up some stuff. She's a very powerful character in this series. Kind of one of their aces in the hole. They do have a Hulk too. You can't really have a beat 'em up chance without a Hulk on your squad. They also got a Luke Cage. And so Iron Man is sending out a signal to everybody out there. And he's just like, let's go, guys. It's the time to rebel. And at the end, you got the people rebelling. Oh, Null. There's a Null comic coming. Null is coming. I mean, he was in Venom, right? He got his reintroduction in Venom. And turns out Hela had imprisoned Null, so he's not happy about that. So we'll see where that goes. Ultimates, though, is a good comic, worth reading. Back in 2015, you went back. 2015. That might have been... It was either 2015 or I think it was 2014. Yeah, so 2015, I was definitely at New York Comic Con. I think 2014 or 2013 was actually my first con, at least for a day or two. And yeah, 2015 might have been the first year I went all 4 days. So as a pro. But man, that's awesome. Yeah, Kyle seems like a pretty cool dude. All right, we got that negative space variant, right? John Tyler Christopher, JTC. Right? This one will give me the... tell me the variant covers. Just fine. Wait, no, just got to turn the page. Yeah, so this is John Tyler Christopher. So you got the old school Wolverine on here. And basically you have the X-Men of the Apocalypse end up in, I guess it's the 616 current universe or some part in time. And there's a battle. And right, you have the Apocalypse X-Men, Age of the Apocalypse X-Men, kind of battling the other X-Men because they're like, we have no idea why you're here, while you're at our school. But here you see the Age of Xavier versus the Age of Apocalypse, different timelines. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on here, right? You got Sabretooth versus the Wolverine of this timeline. And Wolverine is just like, he stabs him first, and then he's like, wait, something's off. You don't smell like my Sabretooth, And it's like, man, Wolvie, why you gotta stab people first before you go figuring out. But anyway, X-Man, Nate, the X-Man, ends up, he's a powerful psychic, ends up first kind of hacking Xavier's mind, and then he puts all the X-Men to sleep, and he's basically like, when you wake up, you won't remember any of this. And so basically the Age of Apocalypse X-Men are looking for a reason why their timeline never changed, right? They did things that they did back in the 90s, right? And instead of things restoring themselves right after the Age of Apocalypse. They end up just staying the same. And they're like, what did we miss? So they start, going to different timelines to figure out what's wrong. And so they end up all the way back in the early X-Men, right? So we're talking like X-Men 1, like the early team now. So it's an interesting read. I don't know if I have enough time, care. Like art was good, the writing was fine. I may just want to leave the Age of Apocalypse alone where it was. I don't know if I need a whole nother story with them rewriting the Age of Apocalypse again. So I don't know. It's a lot of money. And Lady is gone. You are out of here, Lady. You are out. You get out. Get out. Get out. All right. Let's see. I might have missed it, but did you scope up the new Spawn title? Yes, the medieval Spawn. I did. I didn't read it yet. So it's all Liam Sharp, though. Like, Liam Sharp did everything on that one. Part of the reason why I picked it up, like, I've seen Liam Sharp work with some other artists, other writers and stuff, and I like his art. So yeah, I decided to pick it up. But yeah, he did the cover, the writing, the art. So I'll at least read the first issue, and then we'll see if we'll stick with it. I don't know, not loving Jeff Loeb right now. Right. Yeah. So like the writing was fine in the book. I feel like there were a couple of holes here and there. The art was pretty good. It's just honestly, I didn't care. At the end of the book, I was like, The only thing that had was that early X-Men class, right? So that was maybe the only thing that drew me in. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying about Loeb. Yeah, give me something. That is what I need to get tomorrow's new Spawn too. Yeah, medieval or Spawn, the Dark Age Spawn. I didn't read it yet, but I like Liam Sharp. I'm regretting not getting Final Boss though. So they didn't have Final Boss at Red Shirt, which is the only comic shop I went to today. Because I messed up my schedule. But I did pre-order Final Boss from Fourth World, so I'll pick that up. Yeah, Final Boss seems like it'll be a good series. Tyler Kirkham. It's supposed to be action-packed. So I sometimes I just want a comic where you open it up and it's just, if Final Boss delivers on what it's promoting, or then I think it'll be a good book. Sometimes you just want a fun book to read. Callie's in the house. What's up, Callie Comics? Yeah, spawn it up, dog. Let's go. 25 years of The Grinch. The Grinch came out in 2000. That's crazy. 25 years old. That's insane that The Grinch is 25 years old. Undiscovered Country. I don't know why I get this book, honestly. I haven't read it since like issue 17 or something like that. And we're on issue 34. So I've got 17 issues. Ugh, when was the unbelievable? When was the cartoon? Uh, 1966. Damn. So what? That'd be 60 years next year. Sheesh. So is it half full or half empty? I don't know. Um, it does have two very good writers on it, right? So you got Scott Snyder and Charles Soule writing this. There was a lot of hype behind this book when it first came out. Interesting premise, right? In the back of the book, they explain things, character details. It does seem to be a very intricate world. It's just sometimes it gets to be too much for me. Like characters are not what they seem until, or they are what they seem until they need to be retrofitted to make something work. And the way the way this whole universe is set up, like they can really just retcon whatever whenever they want by just introducing new timelines or new things. Like they can change time. Like time moves differently in this book, right? Like 5 minutes in one place could be a year in another place. Just there's all sorts of stuff happening in this book. All right. One World Under Doom, number 9. This is supposed to be the last one in the Doom. One World Under Doom. You know, I really expected this. I really expected this to have more of an impact on. I don't know. My screen went black there for a second, so if it seemed like I paused, it's because I was waiting for my screen to come back. Yeah, it didn't do as much as I thought it would do. Also, I haven't read this issue yet, but supposedly Doom things happen to Doom. I don't know. I don't want to be a spoiler, if you will. And why is Valeria Richards always involved with Doom? It's like, you know what? Doom's causing trouble. Send in a nuke. Send in Valeria. Doom will do anything for Valeria. So it looks like there's a lot of talking happening in here. A lot of people being talked to. Of course, you got to have Mr. Fantastic if you have Dr. Doom. So, have I been following Mark Spears Monsters? Honestly, not really. But my usual co-host on this show, Psychotronic Squirt Gun Aaron, he actually does, and he doesn't read a lot of modern books. Monsters is his thing. I did the I have like 2 issues of Monsters. I didn't really jump on the Mark Spears. Now, not the Mark Spears Monsters hype train, but I've been buying some like Mark Spears has done 2, I believe 2, possibly 3 different Spawn covers. Gunslinger Spawn, regular Spawn, and I'm trying to think if the third one was King Spawn or something like that. But yeah, I bought some of those Mark Spears covers. He did Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman covers. So I bought those. They were connecting covers, so I got that. So I do like Mark Spears art. It's just Mark Spears Monsters is not something I've devoted time to reading right now. I have a pretty extensive pull list, so but maybe we'll get around to it, and I may just get the trades or something. But yeah, I have not been following Mark Spears Monsters, but I have been following Mark Spears. I like the new Creepy Santa cover. Yeah, I think that came out today. Was that yeah, I think that was it was a reprint too, right? Not a reprint, but it was a second print. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was today. Yeah, that was a good cover. I did like that one. Let's see. I could probably bring it in real quick. Or let's see. There's Keen Spot. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. Where you at? This one. And I like that it's got, right, the kid's name on the cover is Mark, right? So Santa. Yeah, man. And let's see. Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot more. He's doing like the winter what is it? The winter bag, right? Blind bag. So, but there it is. That's the cover right there. Let's see. I click on it. There it is. Right? Never fear a Santa Claus. Okay, Mark. Time to meet him. Nope. No, thank you. No, thank you. But yeah, no, that is a pretty dope cover. That is pretty dope. I read this today. The Dreadnought Wars. G.I. Joe. And this is fun. You got Duke and Cobra Commander on the run together. And they brought out a character from the comics. What's his name? Road Pig. That's what it is. So that, you know, I don't believe Road Pig ever existed in or ever made a cartoon appearance. But I do think they did the action figure. So he is, I believe he's just a comic book only character. So we got Cobra. And there's like a crazy scene in here where Duke and Cobra Commander are just like flying between cars. And let's see if I can find the panel, right? Like this side is all Duke doing his thing, and this side is all Cobra Commander doing his thing. And then they end up in like the same car together. But they're like literally jumping off of cars. It's like a buddy survival comedy. Really, it's pretty funny. And then there is a panel with, I'll just show it. Cobra Commander just gets smacked. Like, so if you're into buddy comedies, definitely check out G.I. Joe Dreadnought Wars. Holy crap. That Road Pig. Right? I tell you what, they've done a really good job with G.I. Joe and Transformers. And the whole Energon universe, too. Void Rivals is pretty good, too. But yeah, I mean, Cinderblock Sledgehammer, that looks cool, right? And that's something you can make at home. Like, right? Tempted to do a Road Pig like cosplay. I don't know if they'll let me into New York Comic Con with a Cinderblock Sledgehammer, but I mean, obviously the way to go is to like get some styrofoam and and paint it to make it look like a Cinderblock. But I mean, just imagine making like a real version of that. That you'd be so jacked if that's all you carried around with you. Right. All right. Last book of the day. The Amazing Spider-Man. Plague RX prescribes pain. Prediction. Pain. Mr. T from Rocky 3. Prediction. Pain. What else? You got Norman Spider-Man still battling with why he wants to be Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm usually happy with my hauls until I see the total on the register. And then I'm like, damn. We do have a little humanizing of Osborn here, right? So, he's dealing with trying to be Spider-Man, trying to live up to the expectation of Spider-Man, trying to validate for himself why he's being Spider-Man. And then, just trying to be a human as well. Then you got Aunt May and J. Jonah Jameson hanging out, talking about Peter and, how he's not right. But the thing that they don't realize in the moment right now is that Peter actually isn't Peter, right? That's Ben Reilly. And then you got Tombstone confronting Norman Osborn Spider-Man, but he thinks it's, not Norman, but Peter. So, and then he realizes it's not, and then he sends Dr. RX or Plague RX after Norman. The weird thing about his power is he can absorb the injuries of somebody and then like inflict those injuries, or at least the pain of those injuries, on somebody else. So that's sick. Like, imagine, but Norman, being the tortured soul that he is, said, pain doesn't bother him. He thrives on pain. And then, pummels Tombstone, and then realizes that's not what Spider-Man would do, right? He has a little breakdown here, and he's like, help him. And then he like swings away. So he's like, help Tombstone. I just beat him up. So go Ben. Right? Little time to shine. It's Ben Reilly's time to shine. It's interesting what they've been doing with Amazing Spider-Man, right? Because 1 week it's street level Spider-Man with Norman and Ben Reilly, playing the role of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And then the next week it's Peter in space. It's Spider-Man in space. If they had named it, Spider-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy, I would have been like, okay. Because he's off in space trying to save the day, trying to do what he does. And he's like justifying it. Like, Peter's trying to get stronger because he had a fight with Hellgate, and Hellgate like pretty much rips him a new one. And so he's still recovering from that. And Rocket's like straight up with him, and he's like, why are you hiding? Like, why don't you go back home? Why are you out here? Like, you should be going home and being Spider-Man. And Peter is like, I'm just trying to get stronger. I'm trying to, make sure I'm ready for Hellgate out here. And he's like, I'm not hiding. It's like, you're hiding. I'm not hiding. He's like, I'll go home when I want, But it has been a fun book. I'm enjoying the dichotomy. Just seeing how these characters operate with and without Spider-Man. The expectation of being Spider-Man is so large. At one point, Norman Osborn is having a heart-to-heart talk with somebody who's about to lose their child, and then gets an alert that Shocker is in Midtown, destroying stuff. And he's like, oh. And he's like, man, I really want to talk to you. I really want to help you. Anytime, any place. He's like, but I got to go right now, And then as he's walking away, and he's like, man, is this what Peter has to go through all the time? Is this what Spider-Man has to go through? Like, how does he live life? How does he make friends? How does he, keep relationships when you get called away on a whim to just go save the day, And you're in the middle of something like this, a heart-to-heart, where you really can help somebody. And it's like, what are the benefits and the pros and cons of helping one when you can help many, right? So it's like, whoa, powerful stuff. So, oh, that's a cool power. Is it instantaneous, or can he store the pain up? No, he stores it up. So I think it was I want to say issue 1, and we're on issue 16 now. Issue 1 is no, it wasn't issue 1. Sorry, maybe issue 10. Anyway, many issues ago, Osborn as Spider-Man beat up, I think it was issue 10, really beat up the Shocker. And it wasn't until issue 16, right? So almost 6 issues later, where he uses that power on Osborn. So yeah, no, it's not instantaneous. He can store it up, he can hold on to it, and then use it at a later date. So I don't know how many different, injuries he can store, if he can only do one person at a time. I haven't seen that in this book, but I know he definitely took the Shocker's injuries and pain and then inflicted it on Norman. So yeah, I mean, that is pretty awesome. Like, Norman goes from let me see if we can find that scene again. I mean, we'll find it eventually. But yeah, it's like, right? So they're squaring off, right? He goes to hit him, right? Boom. Grabs his wrist, which I guess it's like touch activated. And then the next thing you know, he's like, ah! And look, there's like blood pouring out of him. Look, he's got blood coming out of his mouth, out of the suit. So, right? He's just a bloody mess. But then Osborn is so messed up in the mind, he just fights through the pain and ends up beating up Tombstone anyway. And he's like, I'm used to pain. Which, I mean, if you follow his life as the Green Goblin, oh yeah, he is used to pain, right? So, hey, thanks, bud. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being here. Also, I got to be more vigilant in supporting the community. I've just been so busy lately that I do my shows and then I disappear into the ether. But I do enjoy having you guys around. Like, that's cool. I like the conversation. I love having this conversation, talking about stuff, especially since like the shop's on Long Island, right? So, and you've had those experiences of being out here. So that is cool. Awesome. Yeah, Comic Box in Massapequa. I've never been to Comic Box. Cool. Damn, that's cool. Did you read The Damned by Cullen Bunn? I did not read The Damned by Cullen Bunn. Got to meet up some. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I mean, we can either find a con or not even, just meet up one day. I'm always down. And I'm always willing to travel a little bit west. I know being out here like near Port Jeff isn't exactly the easiest of locations, but yeah, I'm totally in. So we'll just figure it out. And I got you guys here. I got you guys on Instagram. I think I got you guys on Instagram. So we'll figure it out. Definitely figure it out. The Damned by Cullen Bunn. I have not. I like Cullen Bunn too. He's been around for a minute and he's a really good writer. Like, he's always working. Originally published in 2019. Damned. All right. Looks like they have a trade. Horror Noir by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hertz, and published by Oni Press. I feel like Oni Press does like these under the radar comics sometimes that actually end up being really good. The Damned is set in a Prohibition era in a city where demonic crime families vie for human souls. The narrator, Eddie Tamblyn, is a man cursed to return from the dead. Whoever touches Eddie while he's dead assumes his fatal wounds, and Eddie's resurrected. Oof. Damn. Because of his unique abilities, Eddie often finds himself being used by the crime families for their own ends. Okay, that sounds interesting, honestly. And then there's a couple of volumes: 3 Days Dead, Ill-Gotten. Huh. All right. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. There was a 5-issue mini with a number 0 that also came out that was like a prequel, right? Issue 0. And then there was a 3-issue series. And then they did an ongoing series in 2017. And that lasted about 10 issues. And there's 3 collections and an omnibus. So there's 3 volumes or an omnibus. Cool. Apparently they had acquired film rights, DreamWorks. But it looks like that never happened. And then they had a television series with David Hayter, who was supposed to write it, and that never happened. So apparently good enough for people to consider writing it. I mean, doing a TV show. It's great. All right. My picture went blank again for a second there. But yeah, no, that sounds awesome, Callie. I would definitely read that if I could. All right. Well, I think we're at that time. The Damned. Actually, before I sign off, I'm going to write that down. Damned. Not even the Damned. It's just Damned. Cullen Bunn. Yeah, I'll look for that. I got so much reading to do, but that's something I can buy the trades for and read it like on a trip or something, or even look for it in the library or something like that. So that's awesome. Thank you, Callie. I appreciate it. Because I appreciate it. Yeah. Sheesh. All right, guys. I think it's about that time to sign off. This has been New Comic Book Day. Why with comic news? Before we sign off, though, I did want to go over the comic news again because I know a lot of people weren't here at the beginning. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but 3 brothers. Unfortunately, their mom passed away. The youngest brother, I think, was 57 or something. Anyway, they decided to clear out their mom's house, so they can just kind of have the finality, I guess. Clean out the house, possibly sell it, whatever, and then split it amongst the brothers and go on about their lives. Like the one brother described it as like, we're just gonna go in and throw everything in a dumpster. Anyway, they get into the attic. Luckily, they checked stuff, right, and found some old newspaper clippings. But amongst this box of newspaper clippings, they found Superman #1, Superman, like issue #1 of Superman, and mind blowing. Lo and behold, I think they took it to. I have it written over here. I don't want to say the wrong. It really doesn't matter where they're getting it auctioned from. But anyway, tomorrow is the last day of the auction, and let's see, Heritage auction, and it's already hit 5 million in early biddings, the most ever bid on a comic book. And this is crazy. Yes, holy crap, they found the Superman #1. Yeah, they ended up getting it graded, and it came back a 9.0, which I think makes it the highest quality copy of Superman known to date, right? 9.0. Heritage auction has had early bidding on it. It's already gone up to 5 million. The record for a comic book is 6 million, which to me is mind-boggling. Like $6 million on a comic. But if you have the money, I guess it's cool to be like, check out my comic. Yeah, and tomorrow is the last day, and it's crazy. I'm tempted just to go look. Imagine it's already up to $5 million. Yeah. So apparently the brothers haven't really told their families. One wife found out because I guess she heard the radio, heard it on the news on NPR on the radio, and was like, "Wait, is that our comic book?" So I guess hearing what the situation. And it may break the record for the highest selling comic ever. The other announcement went from just throw it in the dumpster. Holy shit, we're millionaires. Yeah. Yeah, right? That's crazy. I mean, just to think about it, like I've had people give me like their old comics, and there's never anything of like great value in there. I mean, I'm just glad that I would get some books, but that's insane. Yeah, and who knows? They're gonna be multi-millionaires, and it's split. Split 3 ways, 3 brothers. But even if it ties the record, that's $2 million a piece. They're already later in life too, right? So that money can go towards their children or kids or whatever retirement fund. They don't even have to worry about saving money at this point in their life. They're into later stages. So, just put it in an account and live off the interest or whatever. I don't know. Thought they could get divorced with. Yeah, you got to do it before the comic sells. That's after you get the money, that's an asset. You don't want the money. You don't want that existing. Or tell your brother, hold this money for me. Don't give it to me till after we're done. That's crazy. But yeah, that is what it is. The other thing is Grimm, the critically acclaimed comic from Stephanie Phillips out of Boom. It was critically acclaimed. I know some people felt, didn't feel, felt the book was slow at the beginning. Anyway, I still got to catch up on that one. I do have the entire run, all 25 issues. Came to an end last week, and Netflix picked it up. They're already talking about making it a hit TV show, if you will. I mean, that's big expectations. She is the daughter of the Grim Reaper. A lot of people say 10 out of 10. Some people say it was slow to build. Either way, people still say it was pretty fun, pretty good cast of characters, and Liz for a TV show that would be interesting, right? Because her face can look human, but also look like a skeleton. So you got to have some special effects. But yeah, they have the team. So apparently the team that's working on the TV show will also be the team that worked on Wednesday, helped to create Wednesday. So that and Love, Death, and Robots, artist from Love, Death, and Robots, will also be working on it. So that's crazy. So I guess the only thing I'm unsure of is whether it's going to be animated or live action. Probably should check that out. Also, Stephanie Phillips, who moved on from, Grimm, I think she's going to be the new writer on Daredevil. So that's cool. That's big for her. Yeah. Now, I'm thinking because they're bringing on an artist to the show that this is going to be an animated series. So we'll see how that goes. I think I would have liked to have seen a live action series, but animated works for me too. But with that said, guys, all right, now we're going to head out. All right. So, peace, deuces. We're out. Ka-ching. Do a little dance, make a little love. Got to get back to writing those. I'm saying writing, but what I actually meant to say was reading those comics. I do have a few ideas that I'd like to put down to pen for comic writing. Actually, I did write a short story once for Millar World, but we can talk about that another time. Yeah, I don't think it never got published. But anyway, guys, that's it. We're out. Thank you for being here. To everybody here, thank you. Peace, deuces. We're out. Ching. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Enjoy your new comic book day. I was gonna say free comic book day, but I don't know how many of you out there get free comics. I actually got a free comic. But that's it. We're out. Peace.